What you've heard about long-tail keywords is probably true. If you're able to find them, you're gonna rank in Google. And if you're not, it's gonna take so much longer. And the reasoning is deadly simple. It's simply because long-tail keywords are searched less times, which means that there's less competition, so you can fit and rank. But how do you find them and how do you make sure these techniques don't become obsolete? Don't worry, because I'm gonna show you the 5 ways to find long-tail keywords, each one getting increasingly more advanced, and you can trust me that these techniques are gonna work forever. I've been using them for over 8 years. So let's get to it. The first one is as easy as it sounds. You are able to find SEO tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush, and unfortunately what you have to do next, you have to pay for that, but don't worry, because in the next techniques I'm going to show you free versions. But all these SEO tools have certain things you can do, and in common they all have what's called a keyword explorer or something related to keywords, where in the search bar you can put a very generic keyword. It can be specific or it can be generic, and you'll see a dashboard with all the information related to the keyword. But if you go to matching terms, or in other tools it will be named differently, you can see all the keywords in the world that contain that initial keyword you've put. But the key here is that there's a lot of filters. Filters are an SEO's best friend because it lets you get exactly what you want and take out what you don't want. So this filter is pretty secret and hidden because, as you can see, it doesn't appear right there, but you can add a filter, so extra filters, and you can see word count. Now we're playing with word count, so we can play with long tail keywords. For example, you can put that they contain 4 words or more. Obviously the results will become much smaller here, but there they are, long tail keywords with a lot of traffic. And of course you can go and add more and more. Let's say if we do 6, apply, and probably this is going to be much lower than 100,000, yeah, almost half, and you can see they start to get pretty long. But look at this, they have a lot of traffic and some of them are even easy to rank. So that was the baseline, but now we're going to another level of creativity. And it all starts with leveraging Reddit. The interesting thing about Reddit is that there's so many people talking about their real problems. It's not SEO optimized or whatever, it is a forum. And funny enough, Google is rewarding Reddit like crazy. Every month it gets more and more traffic, and you've probably yourself searching Google and have seen some kind of Reddit forum ranking. So it's pretty straightforward. You go to Reddit and you search again the word that's relevant to you. And I want to point this out. Keep in mind that I'm searching dementia. That's for a client that I have, but it could be dementia, it could be Alzheimer, it could be so many more topics, and it could also be a level of granularity. So in this case, it doesn't need to be the different diseases that my client helps with, basically. It can also be other things like memory. Memory is not a disease, but it's also related to my client. So all the 5 techniques I'm going to mention can be done with so many different types of keywords that it's literally a joke how many keywords you can find. So we search the keyword in the search bar, and all we're going to do, just old school, select everything. It's going to look a little bit scary, but don't worry, you select as much as you want and then just press copy and then go to our friend ChatGPT. You know, you can give it this horrible looking thing that it's hard to identify what's what, and just giving it this simple prompt right here. It's a pretty lazy one, but it actually works. It will extract the sentence that we want, which is essentially all the questions and the names of the threads that people are adding in Reddit, and there they are, nice and clean. That's all we need. So here's where the next level SEO mindset comes, and it's what I called dissecting keywords. You will use this to find long tail keywords, but to do so many other things when you do SEO. So let's think this logically. What we have here is a title, right? But this title has been written by someone because they wanted to explain what the thread is going to be about. There's no SEO in mind when creating this title. It's just a title, which means that you might say, oh, you know, okay, this is a long tail keyword, let's see, and you will go to an SEO tool to search, and obviously you will see the keyword is not searched and it doesn't exist because no one searches this in Google. Instead of just discarding everything and just not doing anything about it, what you can do is dissect the keyword. So we can use this title to do 2 things. Either find the way that people will search for this intent, this thing that they want in Google, or to use it to find more ideas. So if we go with the first one, what you have to do is actually dissect this sentence and identify what is the most important thing here. It's almost like going back to school. I remember I did school in Spain, so we will get a sentence and then we will have to like decipher this is a noun, this is a verb, and all these things. This is the same. So when we look at this sentence, we identify that people are talking about dementia, and in the case of my client, Alzheimer, dementia is almost like the same thing. But the second most important thing, in my opinion, that makes this sentence mean what it means is reversible. So he's talking about this thing, Alzheimer, could be reversible, and there's a study about it. Reversible to patients, okay? So what we can do in the SEO tool is go to the section I mentioned at the beginning and put Alzheimer and dementia. The keyword must include reversible, and it could be reversible, reversing, or whatever. So for that, you can just stop before the word sort of changes and put an asterisk. And look at that, we went from probably millions of keywords that contain that to specifically this. And check this out, can dementia be reversed? How to reverse dementia? These are probably already 2 blogs we could create that are somehow related to that first topic we saw. If you wanted to go further to actually really identify if this is being searched, we will go for the third thing. First thing is Alzheimer's dementia, then about reversing, and then what is the most important thing? It will be a finding, a study. So what we can do, I'm guessing probably it's not going to be like that because we already only 400 keywords in, but we can put all words and also be study, find, let's say. And then let's see if there are keywords that contain all these things together. And you can see there's nothing here. So that specific thing wasn't really an SEO search, but we used it to find something that's closely related to that. The same example could be here. When I was looking at this, I was like, oh, Prozac, interesting. I have no idea what that is. So we can actually use that to find more ideas. So I went to Prozac in that case, and then I added include dementia. And look at this, Prozac and dementia, does Prozac cause dementia? I just found a lot of things here that might be interesting. Not only that, of course, I'm forcing here Prozac and dementia in the same sentence, and there's not that many keywords. But Prozac itself could be something that's relevant to my client, either 100% relevant, meaning Prozac as a language entity is something related to dementia, or maybe Prozac could be a, medicine that helps people that don't have dementia or that they have dementia. Regardless, we can actually also go and just search Prozac. There's 27,000 keywords related to that, and we could just play with this without having to force it to contain dementia, because there could be keywords here that are relevant to my client that helps people that have dementia, but we don't need to force the people to search dementia, because if not, we're making our world a little bit too small and we're missing keywords that could be relevant for us that don't contain dementia. One of my favorite things I love about SEO, which is stealing from competitors. First, we need to find them. Probably you might know who your competitors are, but if you don't, it's probably as simple as just searching something related to you, and then the ranking URLs are probably competitors. They might be business competitors, or they might just be SEO competitors, for example, a blog. Regardless, as soon as you find one competitor, you can put it in the Site Explorer in Ahrefs, and SEMrush does this too, and then you can go to the competitor section, and it's actually going to show you all the competitors that share results in Google with that competitor that you've added initially. So of course, you can just grab the next one and do the same, and in probably around 10 minutes, you're gonna end up with too many competitors to handle. Regardless, it's as easy as doing step 1 again. So you go to organic keywords and you have the same filters there again, and then you go to word count and let's say 6, and now we're gonna see the keywords that that competitor ranks for that have more than 6 words. And look at this, position 2, they directly targeted that. This is probably amazing keyword for us. And you might be wondering, why should I do the same thing I did with step 1, but instead of with just the keyword, let's say dementia right away, with competitors URLs? And it's pretty clear, because if you do only step 1, you are only gonna find long tail keywords that contain the word dementia. But there's so many more keywords that your potential clients might be searching that don't contain the word dementia. That's what I mean when you create your own little world. So the other way to do that is go with competitors, because now you're not forcing the keywords to contain dementia, but you know most of the keywords are relevant because they are a competitor. Keep in mind that you can do this site-wide. We're looking at all the keywords that all the pages that these competitors are ranking for, but you can also do it on a per page basis. So you can put a specific page, make sure you put exact URL right here, and now you're gonna see the keywords that only this URL ranks for, and again you can play with the filter, and here they are. The great thing with this one is that there's a free way of doing it that's slightly limited, but the best way to do this is to actually find the main competitor and just put site, and you're gonna see all the URLs that they rank for that are indexed in Google. And from here, what you can do is grab each of the URLs and put it in this free tool that I'm gonna give it to you, is in the caption. You put exact URL, you check the traffic, and it's gonna tell you a few keywords that they rank for. You see, it's really limited compared to the other one, which show you all. Here's just 5, and there's no filters here to do that. They must contain 5 words or whatever, but this is already helpful. And actually doing this is one of the key ways to find any keyword that you want, which I explained in this video, and I recommend you to go and look because it's next level. So we're here again making ChatGPT do the work for us, but we're gonna do it the smart way. We're essentially gonna ask ChatGPT to give us long tail keywords. but the SEO way. So it all starts with explaining what your website is, or what your client is and what it is that they do. So with all my clients, what I have is a next level explanation we wrote manually basically for each of the clients, so we can just reuse this for this task or many other tasks. It's super important that you do this in detail so the recommendations actually make sense. And then after that, all you have to do is tell it what you want. Again, this can be more generic or it can be very detailed, but for this one, I think if you just say, give me 50 examples, long tail keywords, and that they're different from each other, it could make sense. But keep in mind that ChatGPT doesn't have access to search volumes. So the fact that it recommended this, it doesn't mean that it has volume. So you can use two techniques. The first one is, if you have experience with SEO, you'll be able to see, you have the eye, the experience to be like, yeah, this one, for example, could have volume. For example, in my opinion, this one, I'm pretty confident that would have volume. But for example, this one right here, probably won't, because people are just not going to type role of, it almost sounds like a name of like a study or something. People are not going to search that. But remember, if they don't search this directly, we can still reuse it with the dissecting technique. So maybe this keyword doesn't have volume, but now he has triggered the idea of omega-3 and dementia and prevent. So again, as I said, we search a keyword, it doesn't exist, that's just not something people search. But if we go omega-3 and then include dementia and then prevent, there it is. Can omega-3 help prevent dementia? Can it do this? Can it do that? All this really relevant. Again, we can also even just take off the prevent and probably, let me guess, 600 keywords? Oh no, okay, 35 keywords. But look at this, more ideas. Best omega-3 supplements for dementia, omega-3 and dementia. These are probably two different pages we could create. So thanks ChatGPT, you got it wrong. This is not a long tail search, but actually thank you, because you made us find more also long tail keywords. Sorry, let me just search this one here, because now I'm curious if my prediction was correct. Does it have volume? It doesn't. It's probably something about this, about the 4. You know, people are a bit lazy when they type. Yeah, well, I was wrong, I guess. And this is the last step. Believe it or not, so many people don't know about this, and it's so cool. So basically what you have to do is just search, again, just a generic word, dementia. It can be generic, less generic, blah, 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 you know the speech. And if you download a specific Chrome extension, you will see this thing right here. Here's the extension. If you want the link, it's in the description of the YouTube video. Make sure that when you add it to your Chrome, you reload and stuff and you close it, because sometimes it's a bit buggy, but this should appear. It might be there, it might be left, right. Regardless, what it's going to do is actually extract all the questions that are there. These questions are super relevant, because guess who's added the questions there? Google. If Google has added them, it means that people search for them. And the amazing thing is that you see 4, so it's like, okay, 4 long tail keywords, but no, when you click, then you close, can you see 2 have been added? And if you do that again and again, you get more and more. But the great thing is that this tool is actually going to extract them for you. So you can do a lot of levels. Normally I do 3rd level. Literally, look at this. I'm not touching anything. It's just opening them for you, and then more and more are appearing really quick. Oh, look at this. Look how many already. And then once it's done, it's going to export them in a Google Sheets so you can see these questions. And there it is, CSV file, save. And again, if you're an SEO wizard, you'll know that if you go Sheets new, boom, it opens in 1 second, and then import. I wish instead of CSV it gave you like a link right away, but it doesn't. So open, yes, import data, and 3, 2, 1, there they are. Look at that. I just open. This is new actually. I didn't know it gave you the URL information, but look at all of this. And now with this, you can do the same thing we've just been doing all the video. Is either trust that that's an actual keyword that is searched exactly like that, or if you have access to SEO tools, you can copy and paste the keyword, probably taking the interrogation because no one types that, and then see if it's an actual keyword that is searched. For example, we're gonna do the, is this curable? We take things, interrogation, and you can see this one, it is, right? Because it's shorter, you can see there's no like, is dementia curable for, you start to get too specific. So this is a keyword that exists. Or you can use it again to dissect and find other ideas. So if we went here, I'm pretty confident this is search as a topic, as an entity, it is search, but it's probably not like this. So what we'll do is dissect person, dementia, alone. So for me, it's dementia, Alzheimer, and then alone. Again, you can do alone, you can do also synonyms of alone. So dementia, let's just do dementia, but probably Alzheimer too. And then we go include, we put alone. Yeah, probably there's other words that mean also alone. So we're good to add them. And then, is it illegal to leave someone? Can a person with dementia live alone? Can someone You see, we got a lot of ideas here, all unbelievable long tail keywords. We're good to go. So that's it. You're gonna have so many long tail keywords. You're gonna hate me because it's like, fuck, it's so much work to do. But the great thing here is that if you watch my next video, you'll be able to know what to do next, which is to actually identify what it is that you need to create if you decided to create a page for this keyword and actually rank. So check that next, and now is your turn. Let's go.